could have started his own church, started his own order.
Right.
He had that much following. He
Right.
could have at that moment walked off into the woods, San Giovanni Rotondo. There's his room, and then there's a chapel, a small little chapel the size of this table that they built for him. There's like 5 chairs in there.
Yeah.
That's where he would celebrate Mass for like 10 years. And he would open a window and he would celebrate Mass, and he would hear the crowd outside. And it felt like this, you know, and not to minimize Pio, but or aggrandize myself, but this is another inroad for me where exiled, you're nuclear, you're a depraved individual, you're disgusting, we don't want nothing to do with you anymore. And I'm feeling that in Pio, because this is what the church said to him as well. You're doing it wrong. You're a no-no. You're a persona non grata.
I think they weren't sure what to do with him. I think they were just thrown off. Like, what is this?
Well,
it took him a long time to figure him out.
When he claimed stigmata, the church at the time sent a bunch of rationalist, unbelieving people who thought miracles were impossible and we were beyond the age of miracles. Yeah. And he's got his hands wrapped and they're saying, let me see. And he's saying no. And then they write him off. You're a liar. Yeah. You're a liar and you're using the church to sensationalize and create a spectacle out here so you can sell keychains or whatever they thought they was doing, you know? And so they write him off as a crazy, as a lunatic, a person who is pimping the church is what they thought. And he had genuinely experienced something.
Which is true of a lot of the mystics too. That the church has a hard time taking them in at first, and it takes a while to figure them out. But no, I like how you're using that though as a way into your own life experience.
Because again, I'm feeling all this deep identification. Like here's another example of a man who, when he was exiled, he didn't hit Twitter.
Right.
He didn't go on Twitter and say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that.
He
just got quiet.
Yeah.
He got quiet and he said, is that so? And then he continued doing what served him and the people that he was serving. He didn't get loud. He didn't do the Martin Luther. He did the St. Francis, which was he quietly got more Christ-like and cultivated that as opposed to like this rebellion.
He accepted it.
He accepted
the judgment of the church.
Yeah, he could have started his own church, started his own order.
Right.
He had that much following. He could have at that moment walked off into the woods and created a whole new sect of Catholicism.
Right. And there are a lot of people in the tradition who did things just like that. You know, probably mystics who had some legitimate sense of God, but they didn't keep communion with the church.
Yes.
You know? But let's go back to the stigmata for a second, because I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but it is featured in the movie that Padre Pio bore in his own body the wounds of Jesus, right? And you could say from a distant perspective, like, oh, wow, that's really something. It's kind of glamorous, you know?